Greetings and salutations. This is Carla from MooreTalkJa, and I'm here for the same reason that I always end up here. Something is bothering me, right? And the thing that is bothering me right now is blackness. Not the fact of blackness, not the fact of black people who I love, but the myth that they have sold us about what it means to be black. And the question that I want to ask is, why do we make it so hard to be black? White supremacists, I'm not talking to you. You know, white people who don't identify as white supremacists, who really not check for black people, may not talk to you. People from other races, when I like black people, may not talk to you. So if you watch, you can like stop watch and like the video and post it in a like a racist group, then make them come for me. Anything you want. I'm not really talk to you right now. May I talk to black people right now? May I talk to my people right now? If you are somebody who comes from a non-black group and you actually care about black people and you want to learn about black people and you're not just here for some trauma porn because you want to hear me talk about the struggles of blackness, then stick around. But everybody else, you can go and come and I really talk to you. For the first time in history, it's not about you. It's difficult to be a black person, right? It's difficult to be a black person because so much of our lives are over-determined from externally, right? People tell us what kind of school we can go to and if we can even go to school. People tell us what kind of clothes we can put on our body because the same outfit on a white girl is fine, and when you put it on a black girl, it's obscene because her body is automatically obscene. Them tell we what kind of relationship we're supposed to have with self, what relationship we're supposed to have with one another, what kind of love we're supposed to can experience, what kind of school we can go, what kind of job we can have. All of them type of something there. And when we manage for fight we out of them expectation and limitation there, and we're happy, and we have a job we actually happy with fear if we labor fairly, we'll go to school, you know, we have somebody we love, we're not true to right, and all of them type of something there. We work hard and reach where we go. The black community and turn around and tell us, so we're not rightly black. Start call roast breadfruit and all of them something there because apparently we life too easy for the truly black people because blackness is equivalent to struggle. It's a little thing where I think about and I call competitive blackness, right? And competition is usually a good thing. In the case of cellular service providers, competition is a great thing because it causes us to not have to pay for incoming calls, to be able to call the United States for one flat rate, to be able to get good data packages, all of those types of things. But when it comes down to competitive blackness, I'm not really sure say we still a win. Why I think we a win? Because the only way that you can win the competition is to deny that you ever win anything. Competitive blackness tells black men that to be correctly black, they need to have a prison record. And if they don't have a prison record, then they at least need to be affiliated with something that is violent or something that is illegal. It is the reason that all of these little uptown boys feel like they need to have some type of gunman friend, or else them soft, or something wrong with them, or they're not real. Their masculinity is not real. Competitive blackness is the reason that some of these little girls who have a friend who is with a guy because she loves him, laugh at the friend because what kind of idiot would she be if she, you know, you're a white man, you have money, you cannot take man for love and all of them type of something. What kind of idiot to be? And that's how we do it. Competitive blackness is the thing that has black women believing that if they are not angry and loud, then they're not correctly black. No, there's nothing wrong with being loud. I am loud as hell, and there's nothing wrong with being angry because sometimes there are things to be angry about. But to consistently be in pain, which is the genesis of some of this loudness and this anger, you deserve more than that, sister. Take it for yourself. So when black people finally manage to climb all of those barriers and they jump through the hoops, some of the hoops are set on fire, they jump through the hoops and they get to a place where they are actually being given the things that they deserve and that they want, and that the same people who are telling them that they're sellouts want, you tell them that they're not black. And now they're in the middle of a racial disconnect because everything about them is black and a lot of their experiences remain black. But because they have passed that point of absolute, there is no food in my stomach struggle, somehow they no longer belong. And the question that I want to ask you is, why are you so comfortable with the idea that blackness can only ever be struggle. Because that's what you're saying. When I stop life and death struggle, I cease to be black, which means for you, the only thing you can accept for black people is that they should be struggling between life and death. People believe that the only way to be correctly black is to perform this stereotype of the person from the ghetto. And this stereotype of the person from the ghetto was really written by white people who didn't come from the ghetto. But we have taken it onto ourselves and we're handing it out to everybody as the proper way to retain your Negro card. This thing don't even reflect or is not even related to the lived reality of plenty people that are living in urban inner city areas. And when it reflects them reality, it completely negates the background that push them there. Yes, there are some black women who have to be loud and have to be angry as a matter of survival. But if that is not your reality, why are you taking it on to yourself? That is coming from a place of pain. If you have been liberated from the pain, believe that you deserve it and leave it behind. Yes, there are some black men who really have no other options but some type of criminality as a means of survival. Unfortunately, a lot of those black men are killing off other black men. So are they good for the community? No. Is it healthy for them or anybody around them? No. So why are you pushing yourself into that life because you feel that is how you're going to be legitimately black? If you is uptown and black, you is uptown and black, still black. Don't worry, when you go to North America, they will remind your ass that you is black. If you is ghetto and black, be ghetto and black. You is still black. There are many different ways to come from an urban inner city area, so stop telling yourself that there is only one way to do it. I am tired of us equating blackness with struggle and punishing people because their struggle story doesn't sound like the one you want to hear. If my mother walk like a slave and my grandmother walk like a slave and my father and my grandfather walk like a slave, and if you go a couple generations back, you're actually gonna find slaves and then walk and then walk and then walk and then walk to get to a point where I don't have to do the same thing that they had to do. Why should I be punished for walking in the type of life that my ancestors fought for? Because to ignore the truth of that life is to disrespect my ancestors, and I will never do that. We have oversimplified ourselves down to struggle and pain and violence. Because how can the ghetto be the end all be all of blackness when the ghetto is actually a modern permutation of blackness in and of itself? I mean, I haven't talked about the continent, because on the continent that is a whole other thing, but I'm going to talk about it in the New World. Since this is where we like to start the discussion, I'm going to start at slavery. During slavery and after slavery, black people were mainly rural, agricultural people. When them tell we say them give freedom and them say about business, we kept on being agricultural people because that's what we knew. After that, industrialization come, there was some type of economic boom. People start moving to different areas, cities and them type of thing. There start spring up people moving to try find work. Them find work or them couldn't find work, them have to figure out a thing so people can live the type of place where them want to live. Them start living in some little poorer areas, that is all ghettos and all of them type of thing there spring up. Government them ignore the area, them not give them the resources where them need and them type of something there, especially because it's non-white people living down there, and that is all ghettos come up. So the ghetto is a problem. Not ghetto people, not ghetto culture, but the fact that you can have an area in your country where people are not being given the same thing that everybody else in the country is given is a problem. That is underdevelopment, and that is exploitation of one set of people, and it shouldn't one. Now the culture that come out of those areas and the people that come out of those areas is a different thing, because a good amount of Jamaica's national identity on a world stage is actually being created by ghetto Jamaicans every single day. So Jamaica could not be Jamaica if not for ghetto Jamaicans. But we should not keep one set of people in a sufferation as a means of maintaining that. And we should not romanticize the idea of what it's like living there. Nor should we force people to act like they come from there in order to be truly black or truly Jamaican, because that is not reality. Why we want people to tell life, we will accept them. The thing that needs to happen is that people who are now benefiting from the things that their parents fought for need to use a little privilege and power that them have to create change to make things better. It doesn't mean you need to sell out. It doesn't mean you need to change mentally. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just means you need to be true to who you are. The people who are still living in those conditions where they don't have access to all the things that they need to be given access to all of the things that they need to. Doesn't mean that they should change their hustler mentality or any of those things that they have. No, because that's the thing that's going to move them forward. But I am sick and tired of us acting like there is only one way to be black. And I am sick and tired of us as black people punishing other black people because they might live inside a couple little blessings. We need to stop. We're not willing to accept the idea of a rural person as the truth about black people, because when you think about rural people, we think of people who get up in the morning and maybe them go outside and them sit down and them take some little sun, them go out them feel and them plant them things and them come home in the evening, them eat them dinner, them kick back, them watch them little TV, them go out them bed, the next day them start it all over again. We can't accept that as blackness, because it not have no gunshot, it not have no violence, it not have no screaming mother on TV. I tell us say our son was a good person. It have none of the something them where we believe are intrinsic to blackness, and that's why we can accept a urban person as being the prototype of blackness, because that's a violence written in it. Why y'all make white supremacists tell you what you expect of blackness and how you must perform blackness instead of just accepting your damn self? You understand what I'm saying here? At this point, white supremacy has become so commonplace that we are inflicting it on each other in the form of our expectations of what a person has to do to get us to accept them as legitimately black. If you were honest with yourself, a lot of the things that you're performing as a means of trying to get people to believe you as fully black have nothing to do with your reality. They don't really feel good for you, and you're only doing it for the likes. Stop. Take white supremacy out of your head. Make up your mind so the black community as a whole need a healing and to move forward and do what you need to do so we can get where we need to go. You understand what I'm saying? If you want me to come and talk wherever you're there, whatever them stuff there, you can contact me using the information below. I don't really feel like I have nothing more to say because of 12 minutes. 12 minutes, I don't know how long the video will take for upload. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Goodbye.